Hi, in today's video I'm going to be covering Elfeed-tube, which is an Emacs package to supercharge Elfeed. Basically what it does is it brings a load of stuff in for YouTube RSS feeds that just makes them way better. So normally in newsboat you don't get images, you don't get a description, you don't get the duration of the video, anything like that. In Elfeed-tube, what it will do is pull in all the metadata. It will pull in the image, the duration, the description, and also a live transcript. What's a live transcript? It is a transcript that will actually scroll in time with the video as you're watching it. And all this works with MPV as well. So let's have a look at this. So what I'm going to do is switch across to what's it called? Elfeed. And what I've got is Elfeed-tube set up. And what I'm going to do is open a video by Got Blue here. And what you'll see is we've got the title, the description, the author, and the feed, the tags, the link. We've got the image here. We have the duration. We have the description. And what's this? We also have a transcript. So this is a transcript from the video that's automatically generated. And what you can do is actually jump to any position in the transcript and the video will jump to that point. Seriously. So let's have a look at this. So what we're going to do first of all is actually open the video up and then set it to follow along with the transcript. What we're going to do is press the keyboard shortcut to actually launch MPV. And you'll see it says starting MPV connected to Elfeed. Give it a second. And Got Blue's video is taking a while. Okay, there we go. What I'm going to do is actually resize this so you can actually see, remember the right key. Okay. So what I'm going to do is set this to be on top. Always on top. So we've got the video here. And what I'm going to do is actually press a keyboard shortcut, which is Control-C, Control-F, which is follow along mode. Control-C, Control-F, follow mode enabled in current buffer. And what you'll see is, as I play this video...
Alright, this one's going to be on Term SCP. It's basically FileZilla, but for your...
It's actually scrolling through the transcript.
So this is a text user interface program. So all you gotta do is use hotkeys here. So some of the hotkeys they have in here, let me do F1.
Say I want to jump ahead to this section.
Escape or F10 is to quit here. You can do, left or right. And these ones are your recent connections. This one over here, it will not save your password.
Jump back.
Terminal. So this is a text user interface program. So all you gotta do is escape or F10 is to quit here.
How insane is that? Okay, so that's absolutely amazing. So what I'm going to do is quit this and actually take you through some of this, showing you a couple of different videos to show you how it looks. So what I've actually got up, set up here, I've just modified this to show all the unread feeds. Another thing actually I'm going to show you now is something that's absolutely bonkers, and that is called backfilling. And what this allows you to do is pull in all the videos for a particular channel or playlist, because as you probably know, RSS feeds will typically pull in the last 15 YouTube videos. But what you can do with backfilling is pull in all the videos for the channel. So let's come across here and remind myself of the command. Okay, backfill YouTube videos. So what you can do is run Elfeed-tube fill feeds in an Elfeed search or entry buffer to fetch all the feed entries. So what I'm going to do is come across here, make sure I'm on the right one. So Got Blue and Elfeed-tube fill feeds. So I can just run tube fill feeds. There we go. Okay. What it's going to do is say add all historical videos from this channel to Elfeed. Yeah, so Control-C, Control-C. And maybe it's not done it. It pulled it in. This may just be because of the I've actually gone through all these feeds. I'm gonna narrow this down. Okay, we've got blue 22. It does actually work. I tried it previously. It's just I pulled in stuff to the database, so it's being a bit funny. So that's another feature you can actually use. You can actually generate a. If I come in here, see it takes a second to load up, and it pulls it in. But what it will do is it will pull in the image, the transcript, and the description if it's got one. But what you can actually do is do this for any YouTube video. So if I come across here and come to YouTube. Okay. So let's, I've got this one in my Doodah feeds. So let's pull in something, say something like Tech Hat. Okay. What we'll do is we'll grab this URL and the command, I can remember what it is. When I scroll back up, there's a command you can actually run. Yeah, Elfeed-tube for any video. Elfeed-tube-fetch. So if I run tube-fetch, it's going to prompt me through a URL, paste it in, creating a video summary, and what it's going to do is pull in the image. And one thing I should note here is what happens is a lot of packages do this. They will open up a buffer in a split feed, and the focus is still on this buffer here. So what you need to do is actually switch across to the buffer, Control X, Control O, and then just do Control X1 to put it full screen. There's probably a way to actually set this up so it automatically goes full screen, but I'll have to have a look at that. But as you can see, what this allows you to do is generate this layout for any video so that you can actually come through. You can see all the text. We've got all the description here, all the emojis. Then we've got the transcript. So what we can do is come down here and we can actually play this in time. So the keyboard shortcut I've set up to launch MPV is Control C, Control D. Starting MPV. I'm just going to pause it when it comes up. And resize it. Stick it on top. And then do the Control C, Control F. Now when I play this, it will actually...
video. What we're going to be doing is checking out something I have never installed or looked at before. That is Ubuntu Studio. This theoretically should be...
it should be actually following along here. So you can see as I'm clicking here, you can see it's loading up there. But if I actually click, it's actually jumping to that point. So
just working with audio, photos, should be the perfect Linux distribution. Just working with audio, photo.
The advantage of this is that what it allows you to do is actually search through a transcript and jump to that point in the video. So suppose, for example, this video had some fix for some Ubuntu bug you were having or something like that. Rather than watching the whole video, you can just actually search for the bit of text where he's mentioning the fix and then jump to that exact point. So that's actually how you can pull in the data for any video that's not even in your Elfeed subscriptions. Okay, and so this is another video, and you probably get the idea of how this works now. And the other thing that you can do is you can actually specify what language the transcript's in, I think. So you can set this to pull in the transcript in French, German, Italian, Spanish, whatever. So that's something else that's really handy. And what you can actually do is when I go through the code, is you can actually set MPV to open up on a second display. So what I'm going to do is actually just go through some of these features. Let me just pull this down a bit and come across here. So some of the features that we've got in here are the live transcripts. We've got the image, we've got the description. Okay, so there's the transcripts. What it will also do is actually work with sponsor block, which I won't go too far into because YouTube loves to pull down my videos. Unfortunately, a lot of the video demos here have obviously been taken down, which is a bit annoying. So another couple of the features with the backfill, where you can pull in all the feeds, all the entries for a particular feed. I was just obviously having trouble showing that in the demo, but it does actually work. I tried it. This is how you can set it up with use package or just straight. The other thing that you can do with this is you can actually use it with Elfeed-org. And what that allows you to do is actually keep all your feed URLs in an org file. So rather than having a big mass of feed links in your Emacs init.el, you can use a separate org file to organize and tag all the videos. So that's also very cool. So yeah, this was the backfill where you can actually pull in all the videos. We've got the live transcripts, captions. I think you can set this to automatically save as well. This is a list of the sort of commands that you can use. There's also a command that allows you to put in a URL for a YouTube video channel or playlist and get the RSS feed, but I didn't actually manage to get that working because the issue with
now we all know Linux is
YouTube is it's actually quite difficult to find the RSS feed. You've actually got to go into the source and search for channel ID. So you've actually got to sort of search for channel ID. I think it's on the second line. Yeah, you can see here channel ID, and you use this ID to create feed URLs. That's another feature, but I didn't get that to work. So this is sort of the customization. So I'll go through how you customize this. You can pull in particular feeds, so you can say only pull in the thumbnail and the description. I don't want the live feed and the live transcript. You can set the size of the thumbnails. You don't need a YouTube API key to use this. Basically, it scrapes the video page, uses a invidious instance, and sponsor block API as well. So that's the gist of it. So let's have a sort of look through here. Now, what I've also done is Plot has done a really good video on Elfeed. So if I come in here, Elfeed. So Prot's Emacs Elfeed demo from about 2 years ago. What he does is actually link to some of his dot files where he has some elisp files that will extend Elfeed-tube, Elfeed, to make it easier to apply tags. So normally what you can see up here is I've got this what's called a filter. It's sort of showing 1 year ago and stuff that's unread. And there's a keyboard shortcut that you can press, and you can then type, plus and then the name of one of your Emacs tags to narrow down the search. So here we've got stuff that's like listed, tech, general, that sort of thing. The issue is that there is no auto completion, and it doesn't bring in the list of tags that you've set. So you've actually got to manually type out the tags, which is really irritating. However, what the genius that he is actually come up with a brilliant set of sort of functions that will actually enable auto completion. So if I press S on the keyboard, what you'll see here is this thing where we can say apply one or more tags, and I can just start typing YouTube, and now it's actually going to filter everything down, and you can apply multiple tags. And this is a feature that isn't available by default in Elfeed. It's something that Prot's knocked up. So I've got a list of all the sort of videos here, so I can, pull up a video. When you first pull it up, it's going to be empty like this. Just need to leave it for a second or two. What it's doing is it's actually using curl in the back end. I believe it's using the systems version of curl as opposed to something built into Emacs, because it's actually faster. So it's using curl to pull this down. And say if I sort of have a compare this to what Newsboat looks like. Okay, so this is what Newsboat looks like. We get the title here, Newsboat stuck with Castore, which is the kit manufacturer. And if I actually open it up, you can see what it looks like. That's what it looks like by default in Newsboat. See, it's opening up in W3M actually. But if we compare that to this, there's not really much of a contest. It's much nicer format. We've got title, author, all this is color coded. We've got the actual channel link here, and also the link for the video, so we can copy the URL, open it in the browser, that sort of stuff. By default, the videos are not saved to the Elfeed database, but there's a way, I think you can just click on this and have it saved to the database. Then we've got the image here, which you can change the image size, but I tried it and it always seemed to pull in a thumbnail list kind of size, so I'm not sure. It may depend on the size of the image someone's uploaded or something. And we've got the description, and then we've got the live transcript. So again, I just press Control-C, Control-D, starting the Elfeed. Now what I'm going to show you is something that's going to also blow your mind. What this does is it works with the mpv.el package. Okay, and let me just make this a bit smaller if I can grab it. Okay, and what I have with mpv.el is a hydra. So if I press F2 on the keyboard and then press space,
yes,
what you'll see is I now have a hydra that allows me to control MPV without MPV being focused. So Emacs has got focused here, and you can see I've got all these controls here to control MPV. We've got H, J, K, and L to seek forwards, backwards. So H goes backwards 5 seconds, J backwards 60, K forward 60, L forward 5 seconds. We can go back a frame, forward a frame, pause, quit. You can insert the playback position in an org document. And what this is useful for is, suppose you want to mark out a section of a video, you can actually use this hydra to go through the video and mark out the sections and put the playhead position in an org document, so that you can create links to particular bits of a video. I can show the on-screen display. I can take a screenshot. So if I press S, hang on. Let me just bring it back up again.
is obviously the main.
Oh, why is the S not working? So the screenshot thing's not working. But if I press O, it's going to show the on-screen display, and what that's going to do is show the timestamp with hours, minutes, and milliseconds. So I can
main thing being the leads talking about the day. Today, the main
Emacs,
thing being the leads preview.
We've
Got to get out that.
with Emacs there. If I come out of the hydra, what I can then do is activate follow along mode. So Control-C, Control-F.
Nice and short, nice and quick. Get that out there for you. Saturday, 12:30 kickoff. We're going to get into all that soon. We're going to talk about Story, the sponsorship, Newcastle United kits. I know it's a hot topic at the minute. Did a video on it yesterday on the main shirt sponsor, 25.
So if I want to, say, search for a bit of text, so let me just scroll down and just search for something. So let's say we've got crystal there. So let's say we just want to search for crystal. So crystal, just press return, and it jumps to that point in the video. That's just amazing. The reason why it's so great is because it allows you to jump to any position that you're interested in. So, you know, rather than listen to me waffle on for, you know, ages and ages about something, you can actually go look, bring up this video with the Elfeed-tube and actually search for the bits you want and jump to them. You can just jump around. You can search like you would regularly with Emacs. You know, just click. It's going to jump to that section. And as I said, this is using the mpv.el package, so the Hydra
with Story until 20
works. And I can quit that from here. So if I just press Q, it's going to quit it and escape, and that comes out. Q to come out of there. So I've got this set up, and I can just I can clear this filters, set of filters, by pressing C on the keyboard. And suppose I want to bring this, I want to show all the Reddit stuff. S on the keyboard, start typing Reddit. So it's actually competing to unread there, but Reddit, and that's all. That's showing all the Reddit posts. Okay, give this a second. Oh, sometimes you get ones with images. The annoying thing, see if I can find a better post that's actually got something here. Okay, yeah, there's one with an image. And the annoying thing about Reddit is they seem to have recently changed how the feeds work. You used to be able to see the comments using browsers like W3M and stuff like that. You used to be able to go to a feed, this page, and it would show the comments, but they seem to be pulled in with JavaScript or something now. So to actually see the comments from a Reddit feed, you need to open the page in the browser, but we got a keyboard shortcut to do that. Geo will open this. If I come back out of this, if I press B on the keyboard here, you can see it's opening that link in the browser. So what we'll have a look at now is the actual code. So what's the stuff you need to actually install to get this working? I'll just come down to my list of packages. Okay, so there's a couple of packages that we're going to be using for this. Well, there's actually 5 or 6. What we want is elfeed, elfeed.org. I'll show you that in a second. That's where you can put all your feeds in an org file. And then we've got Elfeed-tube, Elfeed-tube MPV, and you're also going to want the MPV package installed, which we've got down there. You can see MPV. So, are there any other things you need package-wise? I don't think so. Okay. And what I'll also do is show you how I can actually customize this. So, let me just come down right at the bottom, and I'll show you Pot's code as well for the tag completion. Okay, so this is the Elfeed setup, and what we do is we require Elfeed, we require Elfeed.org. We got this variable here, rmh elfeed.org files. And what you do here is you actually give it a path to an org file. So what I'll do is I'll just actually open that org file, git personal elfeed, and this is the org file that basically generates all the feeds. And the most important thing is up at the top here. You can see we've actually got this set up in different bullet points, different levels. The first level here, you can call it whatever you want, but it needs to have a tag of elfeed. And to apply a tag, you can see here, if I come to the little alien, org, tags and properties. To set a tag, you run Control-C, Control-Q, and it prompts you for a tag, and you can add multiple tags. And these tags will be applied recursively to the levels further down. So, but what I mean by that is, you see here we've got NUFC, NUFC, that's Newcastle Football Club, and YouTube. And what it will do is it will apply those set of tags to these 3 items here, so that you don't have to apply tags to every single item. That'd just be ridiculous. The way you do it is you create a level 2 thing there, apply the tags, and then a level 3, and these are just org links. See, so we've got the link and then the description. This is what I was talking about. You have 2 formats. You've got the channel ID, and you also have a one with a playlist, which I'll show you. And the channel ID, you have to view the source on YouTube and search for channel ID to get that channel ID. Whereas with playlists, you can actually get the playlist from the URL. So let me have a look at one that's got a closer look. I think that's a playlist. Okay, so yeah. Feeds video playlist ID, and that is the playlist ID that you'll get in the URL for this channel, basically. And see if I can open that. Oh yeah, of course it's opening it as the feeds thingy. But if this was the actual, if this wasn't just the feeds, if this was the channel page, that you'd just grab the playlist ID from the URL. Okay, so that's the sort of structure of the feeds. The most important thing is having this elfeed tag up here. Then just create different levels, put your stuff in here, and put multiple tags. So that way I can search for the stuff that's NUFC, but I can also search for stuff that's YouTube, and it'll bring in all the YouTube videos. Okay, so that's the feeds, and this is the keyboard shortcut to actually start up Elfeed, which is Control-XW. Then we've got the Elfeed-tube setup. So require Elfeed-tube, Elfeed-tube setup. This is where we're sort of defining some sort of keys. These are the keys for Elfeed-tube MPV. So what you've got is the Elfeed-tube follow mode, which is Control-C, Control-F. What that does is that syncs the transcript up to the position of the playhead in the MPV player, so that transcript scrolls in time with the video, and you can then click to any point in the video in the transcript to jump to that point in the video. The next thing we've got is Elfeed-tube where, and you saw how I was clicking in the transcript with the mouse, it was jumping to that point. You can do the same thing by pressing Control-C, Control-W, and it will then jump to that point. Next we've got play the video with MPV, and this is where I'm on the actual entry. Let's just clear this. YouTube. So let's come across to Linux experiment. You have to give it a second or two to pull this in sometimes. Okay. So when I'm on this page here, if I press Control-C, Control-D, it's going to launch MPV. What I'm going to do is also show you how you can customize the MPV command to actually do things like set it to display full screen on your second monitor. So this is useful. You've got two monitors connected. You've got Elfeed on your laptop. You don't want to open a, have the video open on this screen and then have to move it across the other display each time you launch a video. That'd be really annoying. So I'll show you how you get around that. So that's the keyboard shortcut to actually launch the video, and again it uses the mpv.el package, which works with hydras as well. So this is the full screen section. So you can see this is the sort of default Elfeed-tube MPV options: cache yes, force windows yes. And what you can see is I've just commented this bit out that I've got set up. And it's got these two additional options: --fs, that's full screen, and then fs-screen equals 1, and that's your second display. So if I had this uncommented and evaluated it, what would happen is whenever I press Control-C, Control-D, it would open the video and stick it on the second display full screen, which is exactly what you want. Okay, what I'm also doing is I'm actually setting up key bindings for Elfeed with Evil. So I've set it up so that in both you've got two modes. You have the search mode and you have the show mode. So this is the show mode. This is when you're actually showing a post. And this is the search mode. So as you can see here, I can use Evil mode to come up and down here. And this is the search mode. So what we've got is these keyboard shortcuts. So first of all, L, I don't have to press return yet. So I can scroll up and down here. I don't have to take my hand off the keyboard and press return to open a post. So I've got it bound to L. So I just press L and it will actually open up the post. Then press Q to come back into this section here. Next, we've got the proc ELV search tags filter. And I'll go through his code. You also need to install a Elfeed, an EL file that he's created, a Lisp file that he's created called proc-common, which gets all this to work. I'll show you that. So we've got the search field, the search tag filter. So if I press S, you can see what we've got is plus and minus. So you can actually say, show me all the things minus Reddit. So minus Reddit, and it will filter out all the stuff for Reddit. So this is slightly different than the way, for example, Newsboat works. For example, if you use Newsboat, you're used to having sort of categories, although you can create tags, I think, with Newsboat. But at T, yeah, you can see if I press T, we get the tags. But you'll be used to having sort of categories that you've created that contain the feeds. And you go into something and it shows you all the feeds for that category. Elfeed's different. It just basically shows you everything, and then you kind of filter it down. And you'll see the filters that are applied here. You can press C to actually clear the filter. So S will allow you to apply stuff. So I could say, I can say YouTube and then space. And then Reddit, I think it is. Do I need to put the plus in? Okay, I can't quite remember how that works. I haven't played with it too much, but basically the gist is that pressing S will actually bring up this, so I can just say, okay, just show me the YouTube stuff, and then I can clear it. Then what we have is mark all as read. So if I just press capital R, it's going to mark all these feeds as read. Got some there. So okay, so if I'm not interested in, if I press capital R, it just mark all these red. If I just press R when I'm on one of these, it will actually mark it as red. And I can also, just in evil mode, I can press capital V, come down, select multiple things, then press R, and it will mark them all as red. ELV update, so when I'm in the search field view, if I just press U, it's going to update them. So if I just press U, it'll update them all. If I press B on the keyboard, it opens the link in the browser, as you can see. You can also select multiple links. So if I select 2 links like that, hang on, can I? 2 links and then press B. No, it's not doing it. I thought it should do. Thought you could actually select multiple links and open them all in the browser, but perhaps not. Okay, so that's not working. That may be something to do with my keyboard shortcuts there. Yeah. R to mark as red. And then what we have down here is B to open the link in the browser in the show mode. So if I'm in the show mode here, I'll just come across. You can either press GO, I think it is GO, anywhere in the page, GO, yeah, and it'll open that up. But you also have a shortcut so that, for example, if your cursor is over a link here, I can just press B, and it opens it up as well. Okay, and this is where you set the default search filter. So by default, what I have it set to is 1 week ago and unread. But what I've done is just for this demo, I've set it to show a year ago. Mark all as unread. And then this is the prot.el feed code. And what this also requires is the prot.common.el. So this is Prot's code down here that I've sort of pinched from his video and sort of stuck in down here. And what you also need is the config emacs lisp prot common. So you need the prot common file as well. So I come across to this. Okay, so this is where I got that code from, so I'll link to this video and this page, and also one modified version where I've basically just removed a few bits of code of his that I wasn't going to use. So that's basically the sort of the setup. And I also have this set up with, if I just come across, make this a bit smaller so I can scroll easier. I also have a set of code for MPV. You can see here's the Hydra for MPV. So this is what appears when I press F2 on the keyboard. So come out in this. Search for YouTube. Just come across to one of Prot's videos. So Control C, Control D. Give it a second or two, it's going to open up the video. And if I can find the right keyboard shortcut to, I always forget which one it is. Oh, there we go. So just set this to be on top. So this is the Hydra that will appear when I press F2. So F2 and then space. As you can see, I can now control.
Let's see. So all good, folks. So let me
MPV completely using this Hydra down here. Quit that. Press escape. Comes out. So that's the Hydra. And this is my sort of some of the functions for that Hydra for going forward and backwards in the video, that sort of thing. And all this MPV code down here see here, what I've done is modified the org timer function, because that's basically what it uses. It uses the org timer, and what I've done is I've set it up so that it uses milliseconds, which it doesn't by default. So by doing that, it makes it bang on accurate, and you can also use it to insert the current playhead's position in a document, so that you can actually go through a document and a video and mark out sections of the video to the millisecond, and then, you know, chop the video up. So that's basically the config for Elfeed and Elfeed-tube. And again, we're using this org file here to actually create the feeds. You can see here, these are all the tags, and that's what appears come out of this. You can see here, like general YouTube and UFC, that sort of thing. See if I can get this backfill thing to work. So hang on. Clear that. Let me see if I can get this backfill to work. When you first load it up, it takes a second to actually bring it in. Okay, there we go. Where's the backfill? Fill feeds. Nothing to retrieve, so I'm not sure why it's not working with that, but I did have it actually set up before. It would actually pull in all the previous videos. Don't know, let's try it with Prop might have loads of videos, but let's give it a go. So this does take a little while. So backfill YouTube feeds. The other thing about this is everything is done asynchronously, so it doesn't lock up. You can see here 19 pending, 29, 39, 49, 59. So what it's actually going to do is pull in all of the old videos on this channel, and it may be that depending on how the filter's set up, it's not actually going to show them. So let's see if this is actually doing anything. Fetching data. So it may just be the sort of filter I've got set up, but what it does is it will pull in all of the videos for the channel or the playlist. You applied this, okay? Backfilling feeds done. You can see the issue is I've got a filter here that's, you know, 1 year ago. So in the Elfeed, I think the default is 6 months ago. So you can see here I've got this filter set up so that it's only showing stuff from a year ago. So that's why it's not showing like all his old videos from years ago, but it should. I don't know if I can modify this. Let me just see if I can. Okay, so that's cleared all the filters, so it may, you can see all the prop videos come up. So yeah, see, look, going back 20, these are going back 2 years now. Here's all props videos. You can see I did this with Rainier Koenig's videos as well. I was playing around with here before. So what this allows you to do is actually pull in all the archive of videos that have ever been uploaded to that channel or playlist. But what I found is the you have a default search filter. You can clear filters that you've applied, but you don't seem to be able to reset the default filter. So the default filter is like 6 months ago and unread, basically. But it seems like to get this feature to work, what you want to do is actually set the search filter to be empty. And what that does is that then will pull in stuff from the beginning of time. So if you had the search filter for 6 months, obviously it's not going to show all these videos here. So I can now come into any of these videos, pull it up here, give it a second. This is great. So what we've got is we can instantly see the thumbnail. We compare this to like a video, something in here. Haven't got any plot stuff in here, but this is typically I'd run a thing here, bring up a menu and go full screen video or whatever. But you can't actually, this is what it'll look like in MPV in W3M. It's just terrible, isn't it? I mean, that's awful. So this is what we've got in Elfeed-tube. We can instantly see the description, and we've got the transcripts here. And what's nice is the transcript is actually broken up into, you can see here it's sort of broken up into 30-second sections. So we can actually come through here and say, transpose. We can search for transpose. And then we can actually Control-C, Control-D. I think the other one is Control-C, Control-W to jump to a point.
The transposition of lines, just to say that you can achieve.
I think that actually may be on that point. Let me just see if I can. Let me put this. I may have picked a video that is this not got any. Maybe it's just a black screen that I've come on. So let me just do. I think it's Control-C, Control-W. Let me just double check. Yeah, Control-C, Control-W. So there may be something wrong with this video.
This by default. This is tedious.
Yeah, I managed to pick a video that had a black screen. So let me try it on something else. Diode subtree had.
Hello everyone, my name is Protesilaos. Also.
You need to give it a second or two when it first loads up sometimes. And yeah, seems a bit one that's not loading up. But you get the idea. I mean, it should all work. Just taking a while to pull these in for some reason. Maybe I've got too much going on. But it was working. I'm sure if I was just to restart Emacs or what have you, this will all be fine. But basically, the long and short is you need the search filter. Yeah, it's the search filter. So let's see if we can get GotBlue to come in. GotBlue. Yeah. So here we go. We're on GotBlue. We'll do fill feeds. See if it will backfill that one. It failed before. I think he's probably got a load of videos, that's why. Okay, so backfill feed's done. If I scroll down here, we should get a load of Prots videos, Rainier. I don't know why that one wasn't working, but here's some of the org mode ones. Why is it not pulling the stuff in? Yeah, it's a demo. Something's gonna sort of go wrong. There may be something I've missed, or you know, you have to refresh or what have you. But you can see the backfill does work. And again, we can sort of filter this down, so we can say unread. So here, this is funnily enough, it's not actually showing the filter that we've applied. Oh, that's interesting. So actually clearing the filter to enable the backfeed. When I apply a filter here, it's not actually showing up. Here's all the unread. Normally, oh, there we go. Unread is now. So that's unread plus. Yeah, so you can see here, these are all the videos that I'm not supporting. Maybe it's just an issue with POTS things or something. Maybe because I've just done a load of backfilling or something, and it's, you know. Let's try it again. Press U to update. You can see here now it's not sort of filtered, so I'll just filter it down to YouTube. Okay, so now it's pulling stuff in. The other thing to note is there's a package called Elfeed goodies. You can see it's pulled in the thumbnail, which will allow you to have like a different view. So what Elfeed goodies does is when you open the link, it will actually split the screen and show you the post as well as the search thing. But what I found is if you use that in combination with Elfeed-tube, the images don't work. It just shows up as a black the grey box. So I found that Elfeed goodies and Elfeed-tube don't sort of play nicely together. So that's the general gist of this, and why I want it compared to Newsboat. This is probably one of the best packages that you've never heard of, really, because I think it's been around for about a year or so, but it's absolutely brilliant, and coming to a Maximilian if that loads up. It's not sort of pulling stuff in for some reason. Maybe it's just because something I've done in the sort of setup. Okay, now that's pulled in. Give it another second or two. You should pull in the thumbnail. Okay, there you go. And again, these aren't saved to the database by default, but you've got a little thing here. Save this entry to the Elfeed database. You can see we've got the duration here. We've got the link. Got all the tags. We've got the channel link here as well. So it's useful that you've got the channel link as well as the video URL. We've got the description. All the emojis and stuff will work. And this is really nice because, as I said, you can now just sort of come across and actually search through the transcript and then just jump to that point in the video. So, you know, just do a go-to line, you know, search for Davis, you know. Okay, I've got Nigel Farage and David Davis, Beam Team. Just press Q to come out of this. And again, to clear the filters, you just press C. S to bring up this from Prot, Reddit. So you can see all the Reddit, unread or read. So I could apply another filter. So unread. That's just pulling in unread. I think there's a way to apply multiple filters. I thought you mentioned in the thing it was like with a space. So unread. I thought there was a way you could actually apply multiple filters. I need to have a look at the video again. But normally what you have to do is actually manually type out stuff, and you can see as I'm tabbing it's not working. So there may be something else I need to actually play around with, but it's much better just being able to do this. And instead, because normally, as I said, you have to type bus, you manually have to type out the name of the tag. And again, all these tags, you can actually set them in Elfeed. You can apply a tag and remove them, but what we're doing is we're using the org file to store all the tags, and that is the Elfeed org package. Yeah. So this is the Elfeed-tube, the Elfeed org package, and this is basically showing you what the problem is. By default, what you've got to do with Elfeed is create an Elfeed list and put in all the URLs, and then stick that in your init.el file. And it's not a nice way to organize stuff. You can see it's a flat list basically, and it just means you've got like a load of URLs in your init.el. So the solution is to basically use this, as you can see here. The first title's got to have this Elfeed thing here, otherwise it doesn't work. But you've basically got an org file with different levels and org links. So if I come across to a repository, what I also want to show you is GitHub has been supercharged by Microsoft. So what they've got is this nice new sidebar here will actually show you all the files in the repository. And what you also have is this nice section down here where you have preview and code. And so because this is an org file, this gets rendered on GitHub properly. And if you're on the preview here, what you have is, you can see Elfeed-tube, then you have, you know, links to all these different sections here, and we've got these. But then we can come across to code, and you can actually see the org file in its raw form with all the headlines. So you can see how simple it is. And that's basically what this is. So that's where you up here, the RMH Elfeed org files, that's the list, that's the file, and then you can stick it on GitHub, and you've got your sort of, you know, your feeds there. If I just come across to my Fedora, so the nice thing about this new layout on GitHub is when I come into the directory, you can see here there's Emacs, I can come into here and actually load it up. There's proc common. So you need the proc common file to get this to work for the tag auto completion. So that's Elfeed-tube. To the sort of the page, and again, the features that we get from this, firstly we get the image, we get the duration, we get the description, we get the transcript. Not only do we have the transcript, but the transcript is a live transcript, and as you can see, you can set it to scroll in time with the video that you're actually watching. I believe you can have the transcript in another language. Let's just have a look down here. Yeah, and you can disable any of these fields that you don't want. So if you don't want the description or the transcript or whatever, you can just disable those. Okay, you can see here, here's the transcript, including auto-generated ones, automatically downloaded in the language of your choice and formatted and displayed in your Elfeed buffers. So you can see here, same text in multiple languages. So if you're you know, speak a different language like German, French, Italian, Spanish, or whatever, you can basically follow along much easier, because you can go through the transcript in your own language and then jump to that position in the video. So that's great. What it also does is work with sponsor block, which I'm not going to go into. And unfortunately, a lot of these demos here, the videos, you click on here, it will actually show you more information, but all the video don't work. So this is the sort of the setup, and this is the sort of requirements for the live transcription. You need Elfeed-tube MPV. So just a quick recap of the packages that you're going to want. And the other thing is how you customize these. So the packages you're going to want would be Elfeed, Elfeed.org, Elfeed-tube, Elfeed-tube MPV, and MPV, which should be installed as a dependency, I think. Now, what you can do is you can actually customize. So you can customize a lot of the settings, and the way you do that is by running customized. If you come across here and go to tube, what you see is this is a list of the options that you can set. And the way that, if I just come across to my scratch, it's a bit confusing because what will happen is when you use customize, what will happen is if I come up here, you can see we've got this custom set variables. When you use customize, it's going to add the stuff into this list. This was actually automatically generated when I built Emacs, so I've just left it in here. But what you'll find is it will actually be dumped down here. So when you apply the customizations, they'll be dumped down here. But what you can do is, if I come across to my settings for MPV, they'll be sort of formatted with a sort of single comma, and then, you know, $2 parentheses. But what you can do is just change it to use set Q and rejig the code. So this is where you can actually customize how this works. So this is the caption language. So like caption language. And what you do is, have a look up, you know, how you use customize on Emacs rather than me going into it. Basically, you can insert stuff down here, and then you apply and save. And what then happens is then it will be added into that custom variable section. So you'd think it'd come up, you know, somewhere down the bottom. It doesn't. It comes up under the custom variable section at the top, and then you can just rejig it and stick it down here. But these are the options we've got. Order fetch, whether the videos are automatically saved to the database, the default no. The captions chunk time, so this is the chunk sized when you're displaying the video captions, which, you know, I think it's like 30 seconds. Come on, come on, you bugger. Yeah, Integra 30 seconds. Yeah, so it's broken up into 30-second chunks, but you can change that. Sponsor block, I won't go into that. The face, that's how it looks. This is the metadata fields that get pulled in. You can see here we've got duration, thumbnail, description, captions, chapters. It also shows you the chapters, but you can sort of modify this and remove them if you don't want them. This is the Invidious URL. So what it does is it uses an Invidious instance to actually scrape some of this stuff, because I think it's easier than doing it through YouTube. Follow mode hook. So this is to do with the live transcript. This is where you can set the MPV option. So this is the sort of default MPV options that are sort of set. You can see that's just because I've commented out my modified version here. So this is my modified version with the FS and FS full screen 1, which will basically launch any video on your second display. So that's the MPV options. Save indicator, you've got the thumbnail size down here. I couldn't get that to do anything different. YouTube expression, and these ones are for another package down here. So those are the main customization options that you've got. So yeah, you can basically set this up so that it will bring in the transcripts in another language. You can, control the thumbnail size, what fields are pulled in. So have a look through this, but probably one of the best packages, I'd say it's up there with things like Magic. It's that good. And again, it works with the mpv.el package, and that works with the JSON interface which MPV has, that allows you to control MPV using Emacs, and it also works with the hydras. So here's Elfeed-tube. This is Elfeed-tube, and this is the one I was talking about, Elfeed goodies, that seems to conflict. So you can see Elfeed goodies will allow you to have kind of like a split screen. What I found was that the images weren't being displayed properly. So there may have been an issue where, because by default it sort of shows stuff in one pane here, what I think was happening is with Elfeed goodies, it will sort of split the screen. So I think it's somehow having an issue calculating the image size or something, so it's not sort of displaying. That's my guess, but basically what would happen is this image would never show up, it would just show up as grey. So that's the Elfeed goodies, which is causing an issue. So you need Elfeed-org, which I mentioned, so that to avoid having a layout like that in your init.el, you can have a nice org document with all your links in, and you can then tag it. Yeah, that was the Prot comment. So I'll link to Prot's video and his dot files where I grabbed this bit of code, but this is for the order completion for the tags, and you really do need that because it's a pain to have to manually type out the tags, and you don't know what the tags actually are. You don't have a list of tags to autocomplete from. So you do really need this and his chunk of code in your Emacs init.el file. But yeah, I'd say this is pretty much a newsboat killer. Elfeed-tube on its own, Elfeed is great on its own, but when you add Elfeed-tube, it really extends its use, because normally what happens, the default setup of Elfeed doesn't pull in anything. It will just give you the URL for the YouTube video. So if you're just using Elfeed on its own, what it just tends to do is pull in, like, title, link, and that's it. You don't get an image, you don't get any description, you don't get anything. Whereas Elfeed-tube, as you can see, it will pull in the description, the transcript. You can set the chunk time for the transcript. You can set the transcript to be in another language. You've got the backfill feature, which allows you to pull in all the previous videos from a channel. You can generate this kind of layout for any video from YouTube outside of using Elfeed-tube. So you can be in the scratch buffer. You just run that that command. We'll have a look down here. Elfeed-tube for any video. So you just run elfeed-tube-fetch outside of Elfeed and give it a URL. and it will basically create that sort of layout. And here's the list of all the commands you've got, and all sort of the the key bindings and where they actually work. So there is this option. Let me just come back to the list up here. I can find what the thing was. There's a feature where you give it a URL of a video channel or playlist, and it's supposed to be able to generate pull out the RSS feed. But what I wasn't sure was if that would work with elfeed.org as well, and automatically add that URL that's detected to your feeds file. But in my sort of testing, I couldn't actually get it to work. So I think, I can't remember where the section was, but there's a section down here somewhere where it'll actually pull in the RSS feed. So yeah, this is it. Elfeed-tube add feeds to find RSS feeds asynchronously for channels or playlists. When given one or more YouTube video playlists or channel URLs or plain text search terms, it will find the corresponding feeds and a summary, and then you can confirm whether you want to add the video. So it's supposed to be like this. See here, you're giving it a list of things to search for, and also I think a URL. Putting a couple of URLs in there. And you can see what happens is it's supposed to come up with a list of URLs, and then you can basically add them to the Elfeed database. But I couldn't actually get that to work, and as I said, I wasn't sure if it would actually take that and add that to your feeds, your org file of feeds. So that's something to play around with. But the issue with getting the YouTube RSS feeds is for the playlists, it's okay, you can get that from the URL, but for the channel, you actually got to go through the source, the web page, and look for channel ID. So this would be useful to sort of streamline that. That's one of the other features. So yeah, it's got loads of features that you really want. You've got the backfill here, as I said, the live feed and the live transcript. Also save, yeah, so this is, so you can actually set it to, you can see here it says not saved, so you can set it to save videos, not the actual video, it's the actual post. It will save the post to the Elfeed database. So yeah, have a look through all this. It's not too bad to actually get set up. Obviously you need Elfeed. You need to set up Elfeed and add your feeds, but using the Elfeed.org makes it much easier to actually create a list of your feeds like this. So again, the most important thing, you've got to have Elfeed up here, and then just create different levels of headings. And again, the tags will be applied cursively to the levels down here, so those will, so you don't have to tag each one, which would be a pain. So these are all the video ones, and there's all the Reddit links, and yeah, these are just basically org links. So much nicer way to structure your feeds that you want to use, and just come across to the init.el. And again, this is all the setup I went through of putting in the path to the feeds. These are the default key bindings. These are the key bindings for Elfeed-tube MPV for following along with the transcript. And again, this is how you set the video to be full screen. So And this is the evil key bindings. So there's two modes. There's the search mode and the show mode. Search mode is this mode, and then show mode is when you're actually on the page showing the video. So these are all the key bindings that I've got down there. And where did I set the search filter? Down here, yeah. So the search filter thing, I think you've got to set that to be empty for the backfill to work, because you can't clear the default search terms search filter. You can clear ones that you've applied yourself, but not the default ones, I don't think. And so that's how we could get all the backfilled stuff come in. So let's just go through and see if we can come down, scroll down. So yeah, you can see we get all the icons, all the emojis as well from stuff. There's all the prop videos. Yeah, there's all the prop videos. Let's just see if any of these will pull in the... Okay, yeah, it has pulled it in. So I was just wondering if it was some issue with the back feeds not pulling in the full, the full set of data, the image, the description. But yeah, what this allows you to do is pull in all the channel and items in a playlist, so that not only have you got the latest stuff you can follow along with, you can go back. So like, FCF integration with Ace Window Manager. Okay, this one doesn't seem to have a transcript on it. It's a bit weird. So maybe these older videos here don't have the transcript. So let's just try another one. I'm just wondering if... I know it does, yeah, it does. Maybe it's just an issue with that particular video. But yeah, it's really actually quite nice to be able to have this scrolling along in time with the video, because you can then actually just, search through and jump around. So that's Elfeed-tube. I think I've covered most of the things I wanted to do. So there were a few sort of issues to sort of come across. The main was the search field, the search. So this is Prot's thing. So this really improves setting the filters and clearing them, because otherwise you've got to do it manually. The evil mode, it took me a little while to get the evil mode, but basically come across into anything here, use evil mode. And again, this is what I was talking about with Reddit links. You don't get the comments. You actually got to go to the actual web page, which is a bit irritating. But again, C will clear the fields. And I think you can... I thought you could actually apply... No. I think that's something to do with my key binding, but you should be able to select multiple links and open them in the browser. Press U on the keyboard, it updates it. If there's anything new, it'll come in here. I can filter this to unread. So it should be the other one, I think. So yeah, there we go. You can see unread there, and that's just because I've got the default search filter set to empty, which I think you'd need to do, as I said, for the backfill to work. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover, and I'll put links to all this under the video. But the main thing you want to do is actually have a look at Prot's file, and again, I'll just come across to that video one last time. So just come across here, search for Elfeed. Mike Szymanski's also got some videos on Elfeed, but this is the one you want. This is
hello everyone, my name
sort of goes into the issue with the tags, and this was his dot files. So you can just come across here and search for Elfeed. He's actually got a section on Elfeed-tube down here as well. Section down here below, yeah, Elfeed extension for watching videos, Elfeed-tube. So there's also some key bindings and stuff he's got set up for here, and also some configuration for MPV. So I think Elfeed-tube with Elfeed really is the newsboat killer. You know, it's actually almost sort of better than it's comparable to sort of YouTube. So if I just come across, so okay, this is a short. So where's the transcript? Go transcript. So on YouTube, you know, you can
show those classified documents to anyone.
I won't play this, but you can see here how you can click around in the transcript, and you know, this will automatically move along. So we've got the same thing in Emacs that you've got on YouTube. But you don't have the comments obviously, but you've you got all this here. So that's pulled in. So you can see here. That's exactly the same stuff down here. We've got the transcript, and we've got it automatically synced. So we've basically got the same thing in Emacs and Elfeed as you do on YouTube, except without all the sort of recommended videos and stuff like that. So really good. There may be ways to sort of extend this as well. You know, which I won't go into because sometimes YouTube gets a bit funny. I had several videos. I had like 2 videos taken down in a couple of days for nothing really. So I had to remove a load more videos. So that's why I'm sort of not mentioning all the sort of some of the features with this, but this not saved thing here, this is so you can save it to database. And remember, you can customize all of the options in here just by going to customize. Remember, just come in here and go tube, and the ones you might want to do, you're not a native English speaker, would change the captions language. And again, you've got the tube feeds, which are, you know, the things that get pulled in the image, the description, that sort of thing. You've got the Elfeed-tube MPV options, so you can apply any option that you would normally apply to on the command line for MPV. So this is the sort of set of options, and each option is in double quotes separated by a space, so it's not all one big long command. But basically, you can put in any options you want in here for MPV, but it would also pick up your default config for MPV and using the options you've got set up there. But you can specifically add these options here. This force window option, I'm not sure, but I think that's actually required to, well, force the window somehow. But yeah, these are all the customization options you can actually use. Again, you can change the image size, what fields are used, invidious URL, the caption block time, you know, the chunk time of, where is it? I haven't got it open, but the transcript chunk time is done by 30 seconds by default, which seems like quite a good default, but you could change it to a minute or 2 minute, whatever. And you can change the language. So that's how you customize everything. And remember, when you do the customizations, and you have to sort of, you apply and save, what happens is they will actually show up under this custom set variable. They'll show up down the bottom down here above your custom safe themes, and you can see the way they show up is like a single comma and then, you know, the thing there. And basically what you do is just change that to, if I come up here, so I think the way this looked before in the custom, oops, it will be added something like this in the custom variables. When you apply the customization, it will look something like this, a single comma, you know, Elfeed-tube MPV options or whatever the thing is, and the code like that. And basically what you just need to do is take away the comma and then do set queue like that, and then just move it into your section on Elfeed. So that's how you do all the customizations, and then that's where they will actually show up, because I was a bit baffled as where they were. It took me a while to find them. And you can then just change it to a set queue and move it down here, or you can just leave it in the custom variable section as you wish. But that's how you can set everything. You've got loads of different options. So that's all for now. So have a look at, where is it? There's Elfeed-tube, and that's by Carthink. And it's been around for about a year. But I only just came across it, and it does everything I wanted. I was using a previous package called YouTube Sub-Extractor, which will generate a transcript from a YouTube video, and you can click around in that, and it will jump to the point in a video in MPV playing the same URL, but it doesn't automatically scroll. And it's just a transcript on its own. You don't get the image or the description or anything like that. So this is much better, but the YouTube transcript extractor is still useful because you can use it to pull in a transcript. So let me just show you that for good measure. YouTube sub-extractor. Subs, I think this is the one. Okay, so that obviously failed. See if I can find another video. Maybe this is because it's old or something. Let me just see if I can do it with a clearing out the pipes. See if this works. YouTube sub-extractor. Okay, there we go. So this is YouTube sub-extractor, and basically it will output stuff. You can set it up to how it's formatted, but basically you get this transcript here with the timestamps, and what you can do is you can do MPV play URL and give it the same URL. And then what you can do is you can actually click around in this transcript to jump to that point in the video. But you can then export this and just remove the timestamp, so you actually got the full transcript. So useful for that, but it's not anywhere near as polished as MPV Elfeed-tube. In that you don't get the scrolling, not only don't you get a scrolling thing with MPV, with MPV, with the Elfeed-tube, it actually highlights the text as it's scrolling, so it doesn't just scroll the actual text of the transcript, it actually highlights the current section as well, which is pretty cool. So yeah, this is probably one of the best Emacs packages that I've come across that I've never heard of. I'd put it up there with things like Magic, to be honest. It's that good, and it integrates with mpv.el, so you get the Hydra, you get all that kind of stuff, and there may be it may be different setting this up. I don't know if this would actually work on. No, it wouldn't work on Windows, I don't think, because Windows doesn't have sockets. So the way this works is it uses MPV's JSON IPC interface, which requires a named socket that actually gets created with MPV when you run it with that option, and Windows doesn't have support for named sockets, so you need to use Linux if you want to use this, basically, rather than using Emacs on Windows. So that's all for now, and I'll put links to all this under the video, but I wanted to go into it in some depth on how you customize it, how you change all the options, how you can specifically set MPV up, use specific command line options so that you can set it to be displayed on another screen, that sort of thing. So check this out because it's a million times better than newsboat. So here we go. So this is just much better than newsboat. So if I come across to newsboat, which video was this? Can I find this same video? But basically you can see that's, you pretty much only get the titles if you use MPV W3M as a viewer. It just comes up like this. There is actually a way to use filters with feeds with newsboat to pull in an image and the description and format it, but that would only work with terminals like URXVT or Xterm. You can't display images with Alacrity, the terminal that I'm using, because I'm running on Wayland, and it uses the GPU, so it can't display images basically. Whereas we get really nice images in Emacs, and this is Emacs 30 that I built with support for things like WebP. So this may be a WebP image, because that's normally what YouTube use, and it's also built with ImageMagick. So as I said, this is a pretty great thing. The only thing, maybe I need to change the font here. Could be a more, this is kind of like a mono-spaced font. Maybe I want something a bit more sort of readable. But I'd say this is as good as you get on YouTube. And this works with MPV, so you're not getting any adverts. So that's another bonus. So that's an in-depth look at Elfeed-tube, and I'll put links to everything. Check out Stav's Pot's video on Elfeed and his dot files here for how you set up the search thing. The one of the things in here is proc Elfeed, but you also need proc common. I don't know if he's got that listed on this page. Proc common. He's got proc comment there. Actually, proc common. Yeah, proc common. So I actually got that from his dot files. I can't remember how I actually went through and found the actual config, but this is his dot file, so you can actually grab the file there. But I'll actually put a link to it. Yeah, I've put a link to. I've got it in my dot file, so it may be easier if I just link to this but also I'll also link to his thing there as well. And yeah, this is the new GitHub, which is really nice. And they've done a great job with this sidebar and the new way you can preview stuff, and also link to my feeds thing here. Where's the feeds? Not that you want the same feeds, but so that you can actually see what the format is, so that you can easily say, okay, I just need to create something with, you know, a couple of levels, put in some tags, put in the actual links. This will also show you the format of the feeds for YouTube, because as I said, you've got two types. You got channel ID, and you need to get the channel ID by you come to like the videos or whatever, view source, channel ID, and it's usually on the second line, so hit ahead a few times, and then you'll see here channel ID, and that's the actual channel ID. Where's it gone? So that's how you find the channel ID and put that in there. But for playlists, you can actually use, if I've got playlists here, yeah, live stream, GNU Emacs. So for playlists, you can actually, I think you can actually just grab the playlist like that, and you can see here, I've got one here, playlist, yeah, playlist. So that playlist, this is the GNU playlist from prop. You can see your playlist equals, so we just grab the playlist and we put that in there. And we've got the nice sort of preview here, so you can actually also use this, you know, from browser. So I'm going to just come across here. I know, well, I can't, because obviously it's the feed URL, so none of these links will actually take you to the channel page on YouTube. They'll take you to the feed like that. So that's pretty much everything, and I'll wrap it up for now.